Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to my beautiful people across the world. Welcome back to another episode of the longest running show on ENS, the one and only ENS Updates. I am your host, 5159, otherwise known as Kev 4 King, not Kev Forking. Kev 4 King, not Kev Forking. I know it could be confusing, but you could just call me Kev. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and get this baby started. Excited to have you all here with you all. See some just by seeing the people I see in the room this early, I know this is going to be probably the best space we've had thus far. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the greatest ENS update space we've ever had. Right here, right now, right? Because I see some great names in the room right now, and I just know this is going to be a good one. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be good. I'm very excited to do today's episode. I'm very excited every time it's time for me to get on and start this space. A thrill of adrenaline rushes through my body. Right? Sometimes let's clarify this. Sometimes before the space, I'm probably sometimes not in the mood, but every time it's go time, I'm always ready. Right? And that's just human nature, right? Sometimes I'm a little tired, sometimes I know I have a lot to do during the day. But every time I unmute that mic button, it is game time. And right now it's game time. We're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to make this the best ENS updates there's ever been. Starting in, Bank of Spain authorizes digital euro token assets. Hold on one second. Let me clear this up. One second. I apologize, y'all. All right, cool. Let's get this thing started. Bank of Spain authorizes digital euro token test using Ethereum and Polygon blockchain. The whatever token will be issued with deposits coming from users, with each token being backed by real euros. So I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal because they're saying that they're going to be issuing token assets using Ethereum, using Polygon. We're talking about the Bank of Spain. We're talking about to actual citizens within an entire country, more so within an entire continent, because let's just focus on the entire country right here. Let's take a step back why this is important. If they're going to, yes, they're backed by their real currency or their native currency. But if they're going to be issuing digital tokens on Ethereum, on Polygon, that has to be done on real digital crypto wallets. So while everybody else, every other influencer and all these other people in Web3 are talking about a lot of nonsense, right? Let's talk about true Web3 adoption. Let's talk about what's actually about to really revolutionize the world in the next, 1 to 3 years. Because for me, it looks like it's going to happen a lot sooner than we thought it was. I know a lot of us were saying 10 years, 20 years. Are you willing to wait 20 years? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to bring great news to you. I'm here to bring great news to you. I don't think we need to wait 20 years. I don't think we need to wait 20 years because it's happening and it's happening fast. It is happening fast. We can see it happening fast. I've been following it. We follow this type of news every single day, right? And the fact that it's even being talked about at the rate it's being talked about across these big rooms, smart people, rich people, powerful people, countries, right? Not simply just individuals. I mean, people like Robinhood, super big company, right? We're talking about Australia. We're talking about the United States and banks of the United States saying that they want to go to digital wallets. This is exciting news for me. This is very exciting news for me. Did you want to comment on that one, or you kind of just wanted to go next?
Just comment on that one. I
Yep.
just wanted
Go
to
ahead.
call out a couple of things because it is really exciting. Yeah. So just for a little bit of clarity with some of the details, I just read the article. So this is the Bank of Spain, just like you said, the Bank of Spain in the country of Spain. This is being backed by a private. So this is a private business, private initiative, working with the official Bank of Spain. I'm not sure if that's a national bank or if it's like Bank of America, or if it's I'm not sure if that's the equivalent to their Bank of America or their equivalent to the Federal Reserve, but private organization working with the Bank of Spain, and this is separate from what the euro is doing with the digital euro initiative, which is like total government. And so it's like a private initiative that's testing their own thing, in addition to what the government's doing, right? So who knows? Maybe one gets the market first, maybe one is better first. And so just to underscore what you're saying, Kev for King, is that we need to be paying attention because there's in every country there's multiple streams of figuring out how do we put money in a digital sense, right? It's let it be using blockchain or not blockchain. Second thing I wanted to call out with this article is that, reading the article, it doesn't say anything that I just saw, unless I missed the whole section, about how exactly it's using Ethereum or Matic. Because I'm really interested. Is it really going to use Matic? How does it use Matic? Because listen, people don't like hearing the ugly side of how the sausage is made, but Polygon, they do have admin keys, and I wouldn't want, I would want all my wealth connected to Ethereum, while maybe I do some transactions on Polygon. I wouldn't want everything to be totally hooked into Polygon without me getting it into Ethereum. And I just wish the article would say a little bit more exactly how those details work, because in terms of our security, our future, how they use ENS, those details, will matter. And so you're 100% right. This is happening. This is happening. It's so happening. Um, Everyone's fighting to get to it, and yeah, it's really important, and we are paying attention.
Yes, sir. Thank you for going in on a lot of those details. Yeah, and I just kind of skimmed through the article as well, and they don't talk about any specifics on how they will be using this, but it's a good sign that this is being discussed, right? Um, next, Microsoft. We talked about this. I think it was yesterday. Microsoft laying off 10,000 employees, but then they are. It was probably not yesterday, but we talked about this very recently. Microsoft laying off 10,000 employees, but immediately investing 10 billion into ChatGPT. That this isn't coincidence, right? But we also seen Apple laying off employees. We've seen all types of people basically cutting down. But if you have 10 billion, to invest into ChatGPT, you could pay those employees. I think that's not a coincidence. I think it's very clear. I think it's bold writing on the wall what Microsoft priorities is right now. Right? They're saying, hey, this is what we want to focus on. This is where we're going to put our capital towards. This is how we're going to help build the future. And unfortunately for those 10,000 employees, they're not a part of that vision of the future. And that's okay. That's okay, because everything happens for a reason, and I hope they find new homes fairly soon. But we've seen it with Apple, we've seen it with Microsoft, we've been seeing it across. But it's very interesting to see that Microsoft is saying we're going to let these 10,000 go, but we're going to invest 10 billion into this AI, into the realm of artificial reality. To me, it's as clear as the day. It's see where the money is going and see where the big money is going and follow. The other day, probably like 2 3 weeks ago, I registered school AI. I was just trying to register a bunch of AI domains, and I just seen schoolai.com sell for $35,000. And although they're not, you can't really compare the .com to the .eth. For me, it was like, holy shit, this is happening fast. So I kind of just was playing around, like, oh, I got a couple extra dollars. Let me just register some AI names, whatever was still available. I try to get in, and to see the school AI register sell for 35,000 on the .com shows me that a lot of people's taking it serious, and a lot of people's trying to move very, very quickly on this AI thing. But anyway, moving forward from that, huge shout out to Ron and to all the OGs in the ENS updates. For now on, I am all about the small country energy, Belize.eth. uh if those of us who've been here for a while, we know Belize. We knew Belize used to come on here. He even used to be the co-host of the show sometimes. But my guy was I don't know what happened. I don't know who pissed them off. I don't know how it happened. I think it originally started when we said the three digits were going to 100 ETH. And then from there on out, he absolutely lost it to the point where he sold the Belize.eth. And luckily, Ron was able to come on and pick that up. So that is hilarious, though. Great story, great times in the community. These are memories we'll never forget. You know, the best thing about it, a lot of those memories are recorded. A lot of these memories are recorded and they're posted and they're going to be on the internet forever. So future generations could come back in 50 years, in 100 years, in 25 years, and when they want to research ENS, when they want to go back to see what the early primal humans were doing with this technology, don't know all about Belize.eth and ENS updates. But to keep it moving, let me pin this one last tweet to the top for you all. It's about Triple X. It's about Triple X. Um, Triple X has been getting some traction. The Triple X.eth account has been getting some traction. We are now above 700 followers. I just pinned a video to the top. And if you haven't liked it, please give it a like. If you haven't watched it, please give it a watch. It is basically like the official recap of us at the AVN Awards. You guys get to see some of the adult stars we got to talk to. I would love to get that video to 100 retweets. Right now we're at 21 retweets. If you can't do a retweet, I think a like works perfectly just fine. A like works perfectly just fine. But it was fun. It was a fun trip. It was fun getting to network. It was fun trying to explain .eth to complete newbies, and to some who know about crypto. It was fun trying to explain a platform. It was just overall a great learning experience. And more importantly, I didn't notice this. Then because I was so locked in. But guys, I think Nutmeg had a thing for your boy. I think one of these girls had a thing for your boy, and I didn't notice until I seen the way she was looking at me, watching the recap, watching the film where we're putting this thing together. And listen, I know this is not the time and place for that, but I had to bring that up. I had to mention it. She's a huge star, and that made me smile to see the way because gentlemen and girls and guys, the eyes never lie. The eyes never lie. The eyes never lie, and you could tell the desire of somebody by their eyes. But that's enough for me for today. Triple X was a great Triple X conference at the AVN Awards was a great experience for me. And from that big time, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to our guy RN1. The stage is yours, brother.
Hey, thank you, Kev. GM, everyone. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Kev, I told you, Kev lives in a penthouse, has champagne at the art gallery on the first floor, and all the girls are after him. So if you want to paint a picture of who 5159 is, and I have to admit, Kev, for about a year of knowing you, I thought your name was Kev Forking because it always cut the end of it off. You know what I mean? So and then it finally I realized, oh, it's Kev Forking. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, honest mistake. That's why sometimes it's cool when you can see like the whole like Master. I can see Master. I can see 5159. I can see Steven 1261 NFT verse. It's kind of cool to make that short so people can see it and it's memorable. But yeah, that looks like a fun time. Yeah, crazy different world, the adult industry. I crazy different world from normal life for sure. But definitely a lot of eyeballs over there, I guess we'll say. But it really took me back. Once again, shows you the value of following the right people. I think it was player one said, man, you could buy Belize and the capital for 2.35. I was looking last night and I was like, there's no way, right? I jumped on. Sure enough, Belize 2 ETH. I mean, a UN country for 2 ETH. I mean, it seemed like at least should be, 8, 10, 12 ETH. So I jumped on. I'm like, wow, this is a real deal. And obviously it took me back to the early days. Old Belize, man, he would get on. He was hilarious. He would get fired up and go on these rants, and we'd tease him that, man, that's kind of a small country. And he'd go crazy and we'd be like, that's small country energy. And we had a lot of fun with old Belize.eth. So sorry to see he sold it, but happy as heck. And I also picked up $ California yesterday. So I got a real country and a derivative state. So feeling pretty good about both those purchases. But being that I was born and raised in California. So, it was kind of fun. But, Belize, like I say, I'm happy to – who knows what we'll do with that. But I certainly thought it was to me, that's kind of borderlining on Grail, just to own a country because there's only so many of them. And that's one that people have actually heard of. Hey, worst case, we can all go hang out down there and write it off on our taxes, I guess. So, I was pretty excited. Early on, I thought I should buy some countries when they were still cheap, and I didn't act. So, to me, that was just a stupid no-brainer. I couldn't put that in the wallet fast enough. So I was pretty excited about that. Hey, there's still some good stuff out there, It's a buyer's market, I believe. I don't know. I guess Gary and Master can tell us more, but it just seems like, at least since I've been in it, which is just about a year, it seems like this is the best opportunity I've seen. And it comes back to people FOMOing, people not being able to pay or just forgetting. I think in some cases, I think people just forget to renew them. I don't know, but I think it's a good time. And I was happy to get a few kind of what I consider kind of a grail. I consider a UN country a grail. So I was happy about that, but always wanting to improve, but I'm not against grabbing a few hundred cash tags too, in case that becomes a thing because of Cash App. And I figure it's a good derivative, if you can't get a country, maybe, or a state, or maybe you can get the derivative. So we'll see how that goes. But good times. It was fun it's funny because that seems like, in a sense, it seems like it was yesterday. In a sense, it seems like it was a long time ago. Those early days, right? And so shout out to Belize.eth, wherever he's at. I remember he had some 4 digits too. Can't remember what his 4 digit, but definitely brought back some good memories. So it's like you say, Kev, the wallets, everybody, every country, every platform, everyone, every bank is going to be issuing digital assets, whether they be NFTs or whether they be coins or CBDCs. Everyone's going to have multiple wallets. Those wallets got to be named. And it's just the way of the future. So I'm happy to be here, be a part of it. And look forward to the rest of the discussion. Looks like I agree with you, Kev. It's looking like it's going to be a good day today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. That is a historical piece in this community. Just off of the great memories in the early days of that. I think it's not even that early. It's really was this past summer when that happened. I remember very vividly when Belize first got Belize. And shout out to Belize. If Belize wants to come back to the community, I will welcome Belize back with open arms and a big fat hug and a kiss on the cheek. I welcome Belize back into the community. But we're gonna. This is not the first. We're gonna see people come. We're gonna see people go. We're gonna see people go and come back. Right. This is a journey. This is legitimately a journey. This is not something that's gonna happen overnight. It could take months. God forbid it takes 20 years. I was joking earlier about how soon I said it could potentially happen. I don't want to get anybody's expectations up too much, But this is definitely a journey. It could be within the next 5 years. It could be within the next 20 years. I mean, within the next 10 years, but definitely not 20 years. 20 years. I foresee in 20 years from now a completely different revolution of tech, and in reality, 20 years from now, it's just crazy thinking that far into the future. But master, the stage is yours, brother.
Hey, good morning, guys. So yeah, I've been seeing news about these big companies, internet companies, traditional giants, start to lay off staffs everywhere. So I'm not sure whether or not you or your friends or your family is getting impact on this, but this reminded me of a couple old books like Who Moved My Cheese. If you remember, it's a series regarding if you don't learn the new thing, if you are satisfied with the current environment and do nothing and about anticipating the changes and the crisis, then maybe in all of a sudden you will feel that well, my cheese is gone. Who moved my cheese, right? And similar, a theory about the great rhino. When you are walking on the Africa somewhere and you see a rhino rushing to you, if you see it and you see the rhino is coming to you and you pretend that it will not hurt you, you just try ignore it, or it's like you imagine that someone will show up and save you, or something will happen that the rhino will not hurt you eventually, then that is very risky. If you see that, if you see the news, then the best thing is maybe you need to try to escape. You try to run, at least run the ones beside you, and at least you don't get hurt, instead of the majority of people, when they are used to the past 20 years environment, when they believe internet is still the true answer of the whole industry, then maybe they'll pretend not seeing it, because he might say that in this Africa city, in this place, there's never a hurt record ever reported. It doesn't make sense. So it will not happen to me either. The experience told me that no one will get hurt here. But that is experience is according to the past 20 years, maybe the record or the stuffs. But things might getting changed, right? It doesn't mean that in the past 20 years all the internet industry and the business going bull run, everyone is getting high. It doesn't necessarily mean the next 20 years will just simply replicate that. And the only thing that will never change is the world will keep changing. So please keep that in mind. And who is going to move the cheese of internet companies? I believe maybe blockchain will be highly likely the candidate, and also that blockchain will be that great rhino rushing to all the traditional companies and all the school investors and those business, because those internet companies, those giants, are too much relying on the paperwork, on the legal people, and blockchain is invented to against such kind of the old school paperwork law or the centralized. There has to be some court or some people in the middleman to verify, to verify, to validate or make decision, and according to each country is its own separate law. So blockchain is invented to resolve some of these things on chain, so that there is no needed to control any of the database or the PC or website to be set up anything centralized, and that is thoroughly to resolve the so-called trust issue on chain. So yeah, that is the most fantastic part from my perspective to blockchain. So moving forward in the next 10 years, there will definitely be one and another more anti-censorship, and more like everyone can put their trust and put their vote, put their document onto it, and it can just do things for people, instead of right now majority of projects, they are still for profit, and they're trying to sell the coins, and they want to sell a story, while the majority of the project itself, it doesn't really do anything, right? So yes, we should always focus on the new thing, while our energy, our bandwidth, our knowledge is always limited. So keep stay current is a simple thing to say, but difficult to execute. But one thing we can do is stay close with the community, like the ones for example ENS maybe with Gary with 5159, maybe for ETH Ethereum community, maybe check out what is Vitalik frequently saying about, and check those KOLs, but not Eric.eth for sure, and the other communities. Make sure you guys all hear multiple people their voice. When you open all the windows, then you will be smart. When you only listen to one or two people, then you will have a very narrow channel to receive messages. That's not a good thing. Okay, listen to more people, and the more people check their twitters, listen to what they say, so that you know that they are not idiot, right? They are not rugging you for sure. So yeah, maybe that's a good start. But sometimes eventually it will be ourselves to make our own decisions. So yes, the next 10 years the great rhino will show up. The next 10 years, a lot of people, their cheese will be moved if they don't learn new things, if they are happy with whatever they are today, right? Because the world will keep changing, and if you don't learn, if you don't stay current, then you are definitely the one will possibly get, or at least on the queue to be eliminated or to be replaced. So that's very crucial, but that is a fact. And talking about ENS, I am right now waiting for nothing but the ENS name wrappers official launch on mainnet. I think that's yesterday. I said it's another week, maybe 6 days or so. I hope this version got no major issue, so that everything will be on track. Everything will be, as expected. A subdomain will be the first time, the isolated business, which is definitely a game changer for this market. And right now, I believe a majority of people, because recently you guys see the coin price has rise, and lots of people get high again, right? When every time the coin price get up, they say they are very happy. When the coin got a dip, they are very sad. But only those people never make a move. They didn't buy low, sell high. Maybe they keep very calm, and eventually they will make the big fortune. And the most profits in this market are taken by the people who just are the most quiet, the most patient ones, or even after they mine the Bitcoin at very early phase, then they keep their seed phrase, and they forget about it, or they at least they forget about one account, and they sell maybe the rest of the majority of the accounts Bitcoin, but eventually they find, whoa, I have one more account. Well, and see maybe another dozen of bitcoins left there, and it will make them a wealth, right? So frequently trading in the market doesn't help, actually doesn't help, and it will apply to the domain market as well. If you really want to, for example, 3 and 4 digits, it is the case. If you put enough renewal to your names, then I don't encourage you guys to really to buy low, sell high. Although yes, you can make some profit, but that kind of profit mustn't compare to the profits that you buy the domain and hold for a couple years and sell it eventually. If you keep buy low, sell high, eventually you will find out that overall you don't earn really the beta money in the market. We see the beta market is the market. The beta profit is the market, the profit, which means the majority of the price, and alpha is the extra profit in the market. Everyone is trying to make an alpha money, but eventually they want to make the alpha money because they want to show to people, I'm good, I'm talented, I have something useful. But eventually, in order to earn those alpha, they lost that beta, which is the most sadly thing. So yeah, the beta money, I'm telling you guys, the beta money is always the biggest, the most the richest part of the profit. If you stay with the market, just like you buy Tesla by $10, right, and you hold for a couple of years, when you see the great news that Tesla got a vehicle first version, and then the Model X, Model 3, Model Y coming out, and then you find, wow, its price has been almost close to $1,000, and that is the beta money. But if you want to buy at 3, you sell at 10 and buy back by 8 and sell again by 20. Although you can make a lot of money, but there will be one trade that gets you out of the game. If you sell by 20 and they directly go to 50, and you will lose an opportunity to buy it back. And it always happens if you are competing with the the buyer and the seller, then every dollar you earn will be lost by some people, and every dollar you lost will be earned by some other people, right? You are against each other. But if we are trying to target the beta money, the market race of this company, or this project, then you will find just if, for example, if you earn 10,000 US dollar, then there's nobody losing that 10,000 US dollar to you. And where does that 10,000 US dollar come from? It come from the development. It come from the growth of that company, and that is the beta money, and that is the money we want to make with the investment. And that applies to the same theory of ENS as well. Because where is that beta? Beta means more people get adopted by ENS, more people getting their Twitter handle on ENS, more big companies like business wise, those company wise, corporation wise, that they start to use ENS, and they are interested in their own company name, they're interested in the industry name, or everything related, that creates that huge beta together. So let's just do one simple thing: try to focus on getting that beta money of ENS, which means what we need to do is firstly we need to select the name smartly, what we are going to invest in, and buy one great name, right, or couple great names, and then we stay with the community and listen to this space will give you additional courage for holding it for a bit longer. If you are paper hand or not so paper hand, maybe you can hold it for 6 months. And if you keep participating in this space, then you may be able to hold it for 1 year or two. And then, give it to your face, and you face and lucky maybe, then you will have that beta money maybe 2 years later, right? It is definitely better than you sell your digits by 25 and buy it back by 20 and sell it again by 30. Because there will be one time that you sell it, for example, 30, and directly it go to 50, and you're out. You're out means you are really out. You can only listen to this space, but you have nothing in your pocket, which is very sad. I hope all of guys in this space can do the right thing. We all aim to get the beta money. Although I admit that some people, they are very smart, they are very quick, they are very sensitive on the market change, so they can earn the alpha. At the meantime, they can get that beta as well. Yes, these people are very smart. I admit, I agree. There are some people in this market, but who can earn that alpha? Usually, they are more, they read more, they experience more, their information is better than ours, right? They should have that very much of that advantage, and I see very few guys, in this market that have those. So ask yourself whether or not you deserve, or how you believe you are one of them. If not, I would strongly recommend let us do the simple thing, because the simple thing will get us the best profit. Let's stay close with the market. Let's stay close with the community, and the easiest thing to do is get close with Kev Space. Thanks much, guys. Have a great day.
Boom. Boom. Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom of wealth and knowledge. Much love and respect to our guy Master, who comes on and he speaks beauty. It's music to my ears every time Master speaks, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS. And by the way, Master, before I even continue, I hope you're enjoying your mini vacation, and you guys are actually taking time to sit back and relax with a drink, a cigar, whatever it may be that's for you. But ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all things Web3 and crypto related, but focus on ENS. Any questions, comments, anxieties, frustrations, whatever it may be, this is the stage to let it out. No question is a dumb question. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to our guy, the NFT Verse. The stage is yours, man.
GM 5159 RN1 Master. Shout out to you guys, man, for staying consistent, man. It's amazing to be able to soak up all of this information, all of this knowledge, man. Golly, man, with Master, Gary P. Ron. I mean, the combination of those three with experience in this particular game. and being able to come here each morning and tap in and listen to just the experience and knowledge is amazing to me. I love it. I just continue to learn from each one of them as I go on this journey along with everybody else in here. And I just think it's so important that we continue to have this space and continue to do that, man. So Kev, I appreciate you as always, man. Shout out to Stephen Miller. See Stephen Miller here. Shout out to my guy Flossin, Professor Mafiko in the building. My girl 3402 is in here. What's up, 3402 8373? Yeah, man. Who's that? GRQ.eth. Yeah. Enzo, what's up, boy? And Drea, hey Drea. Amazing interview, Drea. Last night with Evan. That was You did an amazing job, Drea. So just want to show you some love for that. Great job. A lot of good information. Got to know a little bit more about you. So I think that was amazing. I have so many different things. Shout out to the whole entire community. I have so many different things I want to touch on today, but I'm not going to touch on all of those things because I have so much stuff going through my head right now that I'm just trying to balance out, just as far as topics that I like to cover, right? But I just can't go into all of them because my brain is going so many different places because I just got a notification that I got another one of my domains delisted. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, man, it's getting crazy, right? So you got to think about those types of things, like, when this type of stuff starts to happen, people in companies or, whatever controls are in place at the marketplaces that we choose to utilize, they're beefing up their particular controls or I guess you would call it queries that identify or maybe flag certain names. It's starting to look like it's starting to pick up. Like if there's certain keywords that may be related or connected to some type of brand out there. Don't be surprised if you do have any type of brand names out there connected that you will also may receive a delisting notification. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. So just keep an eye out. Yeah, I'm on my second one right now, which I don't know how much of a issue it really is. But again, when I see those types of things, I just get bullish in general because that just tells me that, number one, somebody's paying attention and, this space is going to continue to innovate, continue to evolve and grow. And we're on the right path. We're definitely on the right path. So I say that to say that, this year, we're going to be tested again, right? Just like 2022. Maybe not as bad as 2022, but I think we're still going to go through a testing phase to kind of, understand kind of the positioning of cryptocurrency as a whole entire industry and then, the NFT market and then, the utility side of things, when it comes to wallets, adoption, and things of that nature. So, be prepared. Just be prepared. Be diligent. Like I say, like I always say, just continue to learn. Continue to stay engaged. With some people around here, and just make sure that you're in a position where you can benefit from this in the long run. And I'll give you an example. Gas fluctuations, right? So put yourself in this situation. Imagine if you have a domain and you're looking to extend that domain, but gas, for whatever reason, is skyrocketing, for that whole entire week. And let's say that week you've waited the last minute to renew that domain, to extend that domain. And that whole entire last week, let's say you got 2 days to extend it and gas is super high. Gas is 300, 400 because whatever's going on behind the scenes, you never know, right? But it's 300 or 400, but it's a $5 renewal, right? But you waited the last minute to renew it. And now, in order for you to renew that great domain that you've minted that is high quality and it's only $5 renewal, you wait until the last minute and now gas is skyrocketing. Now you have no choice but to renew it for 300, 400, maybe even $500 because that's the way that gas may be. And even if you try to extend it for another 30 days, right? You're still going to pay a high premium. Even if you don't renew it for a whole entire year, and you say, you know what, let me just try to extend it out just for 30 days because maybe that'll give me time, to then extend it another, 11 months after that. If I can kind of play around with these gas costs a little bit, I'll extend it out for 30 days. Well, that's still a portion that is super high that you're going to have to pay for a $5 renewal. I say this to say that keep these things in mind. And when you start to see gas get low, those are the times that you need to go into your portfolio and start to extend some of those domains. I was making posts the last couple of days, excuse me, where I was just making posts of certain domains that I was going in and extending, because we got to make a choice, right? Especially if you hold a lot of domains, you got a choice you have to make to say, you know what, am I going to extend this out or am I just going to let it go, let it expire? For those of us that have been, that have been here a pretty good while and we've accumulated a certain amount of domains, those are decisions that we're going to have to make because we learned along the way. And that's kind of the stage that I'm going through right now is I'm picking and choosing the ones that I look to be or deem to be high quality, and I'm going to extend those first. And as gas is low, that is always my plan. When gas is low, go extend some of the domains. So I just using that and just kind of sharing that with you guys to let you know that, hey, you got to have a strategy out here. And take advantage of those times when gas is low and extend it out as far as you can, as far as your budget will allow you. But I'm telling you, there's going to come a time where it's the network's going to get clogged, until Vitalik, gets the whole gas thing worked out, right? But there are going to be times between now until that happens that the network may get clogged, and you may be sitting around in a situation where you got to pay 4 times, 5 times, maybe even 50 times what you would usually pay to extend something. So just be vigilant in that perspective. And again, for me, this space is somewhere where I continue to learn. And I just say to everybody else, continue to learn, build what you can build, but always have a strategy out here because we never know what tomorrow is going to bring with ENS and with gas costs and just your overall budget and in real life things that may happen to you that may kind of change your path. So shout out to everybody who's tapping in, man. I appreciate everybody, and man, let's keep moving. Appreciate you, Kev.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great, great, great words there from Verse. Appreciate you, man. You don't have to wait until your domains are about to expire to extend. Got the message. Got the message. Extend them periodically while gas is low, which is what I probably actually need to do, to be honest. So thank you for that reminder, brother. Thank you for being consistent and always showing up for the community. Cool. Let's go right over to our guy, Gary. Gary, always love having Gary with us on stage. Gary, the mic is yours, brother.
Hey, GM, everybody. Yeah, great show. Loving it. A lot of great information, a lot of great wisdom, a lot of great wisdom. A lot of great fortune too. Congrats, RN1 on Belize. I couldn't believe that price. It was a great deal. Yeah, in countries, I'm a big believer in countries. Some of y'all know I'm a big believer in countries, and yeah, subdomain identity, Web3 identity. It's all about the Web3 identity. That's the number one use case of these names is us having our identity, and everything else is really gonna extend from there, right? Not your keys, not your coin, not your code, not your wallet, not your ENS, not your identity. A lot happening down that path. Super exciting. Like so much seems to be happening, and it's really weird because it's weird because there's all this concern. People are really freaked out about the financial situation of the world and the state of the world, and like talks of recession and things getting worse before they get better. Like what it's seeming like to me is that 2023 is going to be really rough, and then things might get better Q1, Q2, 2024. just as like a super high macro level. But what's really weird is like everyone has like these dire concerns, but people are super excited and they're super optimistic and they're building and they're doing a lot of things. And it's strange because I think what's happening is that the people that show up to like these spaces and whatnot, it when we sort of like watch high level Twitter or like high level news, like we see people freaking out. But when we show up to rooms, we're talking about the technology, we're talking about the companies, we're talking about, some of the specifics and the trends that are happening with, let it be the central bank digital currencies in Spain, or let it be some of the, the updates with the builders building. But it's like the world is alive. The world is just in this change of metamorphosis with, AI coming on the scene, and people getting displaced with jobs, and people kind of just not recognizing change, right? If you know the world is changing, then you're going to change with it, right? But what doesn't bend will break. And but if you don't know the world is changing, then you're just going to just sit there while the bad weather comes in, and you're not going to change with it. You're not going to prepare for it. And kind of like speaking to what the verse is saying, if everything is okay today and you have a little bit of money, then and the gas is down, then you have to think about those bad times. And when the bad times are here, you got to think about those good times. You got to get ahead of all that's happening. Yeah, but things the things happen slow. We overestimate what's going to happen in the short term. We think like the whole bull market is going to come back next week or something like that, and we underestimate the long term, right? Because in 5 or 10 years, I don't think the world is going to look the same, quite honestly. And in the short term, it's like companies, like Master was talking about the companies getting involved, and yeah, absolutely, the companies are getting involved at every single level of the game, from the largest companies to the smallest companies. But by definition, everybody can't be first, right? By definition, everybody can't be an early adopter. Only the top 20% or 49% of the people can be early adopters. So with that, it's also interesting because yeah, I'm like a cypherpunk. I'm all about the decentralization and like sort of equal distribution of power to the people to be able to participate in the culture and the technology. And inside the culture and the technology and everything that's happening, there's just a lot to sort of do and know and to be involved with. And when I think about myself and my own journey learning, I'm able to be really nimble because I'm one person, right? I'm one person, and I have circles around me and communities around me. But I'm making my decisions, and if I need to pivot, I can pivot very quickly. And the larger team you have, then the harder it is to pivot, right? And it's like I talked about it before. It's like a giant cruise ship or a battleship. It's really hard to turn a giant ship around. And when you're a big enterprise corporation, you can have all sorts of captains on the ship, and they can all say, "Metaverse, ahoy!" And like they can spot the Web3 and they can start talking about it. And there's a lot of people that got to get involved. It's not and adjust the blockchain. But they exist in these other worlds, right? With like laws and stuff and taxes and regulations and yeah, there's and if you're trying to do sales in Web3, if you're trying to do business in Web3, it's all sort of great and possible and super advantageous. But you just got to recognize that there's the legal departments, and they sort of have to get with it. But there's also the financial departments, and they got to get with it. And there's a tech departments, and they got to get with it. And so it's really hard just for like a large enterprise corporation to, even when they know it's a good idea, to just execute on something really, really quickly, right? Unless you're, like it's funny to say, but most corporations are actually kind of decentralized. You have something like Facebook that's like super centralized because like Mark Zuckerberg like has like 100% of all the decision making power. So the buck sort of stops with him. But most organizations they're actually structured a little bit differently. And there's sort of like, even though there's a CEO, there's multiple captains, and considerations. And even something as simple as buying Ethereum can be really difficult for an enterprise level organization, because when you think about the conversions and the tax implications and the custody and the control, or the wallet and who's going to control that wallet, there's a lot of problems that consumers have barely been able to figure out, let alone like a corporation, which again isn't like one person, or controlled by one, like people come and go out of positions, and a person leaves and they know the keys. What I mean? It's like, how does this stuff going to work? Yeah, so I definitely think the enterprise corporations are coming, and they're talking about this stuff, and some of them are just able to move quicker than others. And it's kind of seems like the whole Porsche NFT situation was kind of rough. They kind of had a high price thing, they rushed into it, they didn't really curate a customer base, they're super vague about what they were doing, they didn't purchase their ENS name to signal that they were serious. Yeah, but but they're definitely coming, right? Because things are moving in that direction. And I think it's kind of like what we see with the first story that Kev was talking about. With the you have like the European Union who's building the digital euro. In America, we have the Federal Reserve, right? The actual Federal Reserve, and then it's like 12, 13 governors on that board, and different governors are doing experiments with FedCoin, essentially. And at the same time, we have private organizations that are making FedCoin, like Circle USDC is essentially like private FedCoin. Could end up being FedCoin for all we know. If it gets sort of accepted into the mainstream. So all of this stuff is happening, and like all these corporations are realizing it. And it just goes back to what I said in the middle there, which is we overestimate the short term, and our expectations don't happen quick enough, and we sort of get frustrated or flustered. Some people give up or walk away, and and then things happen. You know what I mean? Because because long term, long term we think, wow, the world's not going to change that much long term. But I mean, we know the world changes quickly with technology. You think about, go look up what technology is created 10 years ago. So, all of this is happening. And, if as we're looking at the news and we're checking in, to the ENS updates every day, all the little data points are just crazy, right? There's just so much of buzz, and it's like, we're not like a super, super geeky technical room and everything like that. And I'm not, as geeky as I am, I'm not like an actual developer, and I don't know the actual computer science to really get into it. But I mean, Vitalik's recent tweet, I think was huge. I don't even know if we talked about that because I haven't been here every single day. But Vitalik's recent tweet talking about using ENS names for private address creation, and Balaji's tweet about taking ENS names and using ENS names for secure messaging instead of SMTP protocol. I mean, dude, it's like King Kong just, Godzilla just came out of the water. I don't think anyone realizes it. Like the developments at a super high level, and yeah, and you guys are here, and just don't give up, and and just keep on connecting and keep on learning, because I don't know if you guys see what I see, but the world is changing, and we're all changing with it.
Wow. Boom. That deserves a bomb. Great segment from Gary. But what else do you expect? Do you expect anything else from Gary Palmer Jr.? The world is changing, and we're changing with it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday. We have the best speakers in all of ENS on stage right here, right now. If you haven't already retweeted this room, please do us a favor. Press that little purplish, bluish button on the lower corner of your screen. Give us a retweet as we continue this amazing segment of a show. With that being said, I would love to go over to the lovely one and only 3402, the weather reporter. The stage is yours.
GM, Kev for King, Ron Master, all the speakers and listeners, ENS fam. It's a great day. It's Taco Tuesday. And yes, I have some weather to report. We have Ethereum over 1,600, Bitcoin just under 23,000, and ENS token just under $15. The top 24-hour sales volume, the 10K Club, no surprise. On top, new members are sweeping with over 62 ETH in daily volume. The floor price slightly up to 1.26 ETH, with Ethereum price increasing. This is just below 2,100 USD. The 999 Club with around 16 ETH in 24 hours. The floor price is up over 10% to 19.28 ETH. There is a 35.75 ETH offer on 000.eth, which is still currently listed for 1,000 ETH. Top 24-hour offers also have 35 ETH offers, all repeating 3 digits, all grails. Pre-Punk Club, 6.5 ETH in daily volume. And while the floor price is up over 65%, still a great entry at 0.0025 ETH if you're looking to join this club. The 100K Club bringing in over 5 ETH in 24 hours. The floor is at 0.026. And there is a 15 ETH offer on 0.000.eth. And this club's highest sale was for 41 ETH for 5/8.eth. Top 24-hour sales, 947.eth sold for 15.9 ETH, the top sale, but around 3.5 ETH below the floor. 4-digit 1993.eth sold for 9.93, nearly 8 times above the floor. And unemployed.eth, spelled correctly, not our friend unemployed, sold for 4.88 ETH. The derivative is looking good for our friend. Notable sales, this one is a little bittersweet. As Kev and Ron already mentioned, we lost an ENS Updates OG with this sale. I still can't believe it. Belize.eth sold for 2 ETH, along with lots of memories that will live on. If you know, you know. Galerme.eth, a Portuguese name equivalent to William in English, was purchased for 1,350 US dollars. And Foxtrot, just like it sounds. I had no idea what this was, but Google says it is an American comic strip, also a popular ballroom dance, sold for 0.69 ETH. And I'm sure y'all heard the shit that sold yesterday. Anal.eth sold for 1.1 ETH, a smashing deal per community brokers. And lastly, since we do have a lot of ENS maxis in here, I'll share some stats. The floor price is currently at 0.06 ETH, and the total sales volume has reached 1,020 ETH. Only 6% currently listed, and I did finally get my queen. Let's go. That is a wrap on the weather for today. Happy to be here. Always a great convo. Get those tacos, everyone, and thanks, Kev, for having me.
Wow, that was a standing ovation weather report, but we don't expect anything less. Thank you, 3402. Absolutely loved your segment. That was really good, and hopefully we could have you back a little bit more. That would make my day every day. Every day 3402 is on the show. It makes my day. Cool. Let's move the show right along. Much appreciated. Let's go over to our guy, the professor, aka 1261. My boy, Mafiko. The stage is yours, bro.
Yo, GM. I hope you guys are doing well today. At work right now, it's been kind of crazy with marking actually. So just finish up the semester, and it's always tough having these conversations with students when you know that they fit throughout the course, but unfortunately their results just didn't match up. And as part of this job is having those conversations. So that's been taking up my time this week, but I've just wrapped up the final one today. Well, I think the final one. We'll see how we go the rest of the week. I thought I'd hop in here to get up to speed with things and how things have been going. I have a couple of reflections that are top of mind for me, especially as we're kind of seeing a lot more innovation in the ENS space, but more generally in NFT land. So if you all have seen in recent months, I would say couple of weeks, there's been a big shift in terms of open editions becoming more prominent. You see 6529 with the memes, and Jack Butcher, who just came out with checks as another kind of experiment using open editions. They are fantastic collections. They're fantastic initiatives. I think it's healthy for this space for us to see new ways of creating value besides the original kind of 10K PFP mint, which I don't think I've seen in quite a while. So my point is, we're now starting to see more innovation bubbling to the surface. Expect to see more of this as we progress through this year, but keep an eye out in terms of when you see something that aligns with your thesis on NFTs, or that aligns with your values, or is interesting to you. One thing that I have done since I got Twitter was to create a list of people, a very, very, very niche list. Maximum, I always keep it between 30, maximum 50 people, of individuals where I go, every single tweet of theirs is something I would either retweet or I learned something new. So my list is very niche. And interestingly enough, 6529 and Jack Butcher were both on that list. Now, I've never viewed that list as a way of generating alpha, and I'm not saying that this list particularly is important to me. But I would say, for all of you, I think it's a useful tool for learning. If you don't have a list like that, I would highly recommend. And the more diverse you can make the list, the better. So I've got people from NFT to graphic design to economics to everything I'm interested in. I try to manifest in that list. Now I'm just paying more attention for myself now, and I put it as a lesson for myself, in that if anybody from that list develops a project, NFT or not NFT related, because I put them on that list for a reason, I will kind of ape in and then ask questions later, which is completely against my traditional view of buying things in general. But I just noticed, just in the past couple of weeks, the fact that 6529 and Jack Butcher were both on my list, and I slept on both of those. I saw the tweets, I saw the open editions, and I just didn't pay it any mind. It's just shifted my thinking in terms of, one, that list is good for learning, but also just bear in mind, if you put people on the list for a particular reason, just be a bit more detail oriented in terms of when they release their own projects. Linking back to ENS, all of the conversations we've been having around this, the name wrapper, new utility coming through, and the work that Kev and others are doing, and myself, we're doing, the ZZC group, I think we're going to start to see more innovation as well on the ENS front, which I'm really excited about. So we've had this wave of clubs, which has been very useful. I think Pokemon is a great example. I think those actually IP related clubs will do well. And I think now with this additional name wrapper utility, we're going to have another wave now where we start to think about new creative ways of creating value through ENS. I would love to see specific ENS related projects launch. So not just a club, which is a collection of ENS names that are tied to something in Web 2, but actually using ENS as a platform to create something new. I often forget that ENS names are also NFTs. There's a lot of real estate in the ability to change the image on those ENS names. So I think the intersect between the utility ENS provides, also potentially art, given how prominent it is in our space, perhaps even music and other kind of artistic pursuits. I'm interested to see how they connect and align and intersect in the coming months. So again, I would implore you, if you have people in the ENS space that you think everything they tweet out is a gem, make sure you follow them. I'm sure those people are thinking about building, or thinking about creating some kind of project or something. Just keep your ear to the street for sure. Last thing I want to mention today is what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. If it comes back to me, Kev, that's right. Kev mentioned the fact that he bought or registered school AI.eth. Now, I'm sure we've seen in since November how hot or hyped up and how much interest AI has received. But there's one thing that Kev mentioned, which I think is very important. He mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he mentioned that this kind of wave is happening much faster than that he thought and that maybe other people thought. And I think that's just a good reflection for AI, but I think for NFTs as well. It's easy to think we've been in this bear for a little bit now. The tables and the conversation, the narrative can change very, very quickly. But Ethereum, at 1600 now, yes, there are macro conditions around the world, things that are happening. We're seeing a lot of these tech companies laying off people. But with that being said, narratives can change very quickly. People can go from risk off to risk on very quickly, depending on what if a particular narrative is compelling. So I say that in terms of with ENS as well. You just never know. This bear may last longer than we think, or it may actually be shorter than we think. No one has a crystal ball in this space. What you can do and what you should be doing is turning up every day, tuning in, learning, and being present, because that ultimately is the biggest alpha of all. And of course, being on ENS on the ENS updates for your daily dose of what's happening in the ENS world. That's all for me today. Thanks, Kev, for having me up. I'm hoping I can be on a bit more throughout the rest of this week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was good. That was good. Thank you, Mafiko, for sharing that with us. Would love to have you back on whenever you want to come back on. Whenever you want to come back on, you can come back on, and the mic is yours. The stage is your home, brother. Cool. Let's keep the show moving right along here. Let's go on over to our guy, Steven, the one and only Shark Miller.
What's going on, Kev? Everybody in the space, hope you're having a great day. Look, man, the news this morning, it feels kind of thin. And I feel like, typically speaking, that happens before you see a ramp up. So just a little observation for y'all to be, kind of keeping your eye out this morning. There may be some more stuff to, follow this afternoon or tomorrow, really amp the week up a little bit, so to speak. But in lieu of that news, I feel like I need to at least clown on a couple of people real quick. I love seeing 3402 in space. And I think that it's great that we see her every now and again. I want her to keep coming back. But if she isn't careful, she's going to start getting the title of fair weather girl if she's only around here when it's good news. Just playing.
Did you buy the .eth yet?
But that's why. That'd be funny as shit. And then also to go back to what Kev was saying at the beginning of the show with his new love interest in Nutmeg from the AVN conference. I know that you want everybody to understand that your name is Kev for King, but I mean, if you guys end up getting together, man, it could be Kev Nut King. You never know. Just live for yourself, man. Pave the road that you want. I love you both, and honest to God, I just want to bring a little bit of a smile this morning. We're all always so serious with the news that we bring in here, and people just, I think at this stage of the game, like where we're at in the bear, it's always nice to have a little bit of a reminder to laugh, to smile. But that's really what I wanted to share this morning. We've got, of course, a lot going on later on today with the Shark Tank. I hope you'll join us. We've got the one and only Dylan Meador, aka Satoshi Test Account, on as our special guest shark. Should be a really interesting show for that. Speaking with a builder, learning what he looks at from the ENS perspective. My dog, as you can hear, is very excited about it. But nonetheless, I'll make sure that's pinned to the top. And of course, if you have not yet jumped into the Shark Tank this season, please make sure you're dropping a couple domains on our submission form for a chance to come up on stage. We also have been giving out a couple fast passes already, so if you stick to the spaces where you will see my fellow sharks, both Flexter and Fireball, attending, they've been giving out a couple fast passes. So that may be another shot for you to get up on stage with us and pitch one of your domains. I've been saying it for a while, and I'm going to stick to it, man, like truly. I believe that the ENS Shark Tank is the number one domain sales and education platform around appraisals in the space, and we're going to keep building this show to be just that for you. So If you're looking to get your domain name a little bit of exposure, make sure you're submitting your best ones, and you have a shot at getting on the show, man. So I'll make sure that link is posted at the top. If you would like to jump in and join us today for the show, learn, listen a little bit. But I otherwise hope that y'all have yourselves a great week. Cheers.
Yes, sir. Cheers to Stephen the Shark Miller. Yeah, appreciate the jokes, man. That was good. I will certainly be in attendance for sure at the Shark Tank. Set your reminders. He pinned it to the top, I think. Did you pin it to the top?
Yes, sir. It should be loading up right now.
Okay, awesome. I'll pin it to the top. Set your reminders. Great show. One of my favorite shows in all of ENS. And appreciate you coming on and showing some love, brother. Let's go over to our guy, Triple Pistol, a.k.a. Floss, and the stage is yours, man.
What up, Cal, man? You already know I'm pumped. You know what today is. It's pinned up top. It's emoji shill day, man. Like, shit, we already got some bangers being shilled. And let me tell you, people are starting to wake up to emojis, if you haven't noticed. I did just see recently, about 30 minutes ago, we have a new member of the 999 Club, Keycap, that is. The owner of Israel.eth bought a palindrome for 0.296. So shout out to Israel.eth stepping up and joining the community. And yeah, I mean, Kev, look, man, I don't know if people are realizing, but people are starting to actually wake up to the ideas of matching digits to their PFPs. Right now, everyone's focused on punks and eights, but this will actually start extending to other communities. When I originally started minting these, before anyone was talking about keycaps, when I was getting laughed off stages, this has kind of been my thesis, right? I thought this would take years to come true, but it took about, I don't know, 7 to 8 months. But we still have a long ways to go, right? Someone made a comment, I think it was Anna. She's like, I'm surprised the keycaps aren't, equivalent to a floor price of standard digits. I mean, I'm not going to say that, right? Whatever. I mean, people want to call them derivatives. That's cool. But, derivatives still have value. We all drive derivative vehicles. We all use derivative laptops, phones. They all have value, right? So kind of recently we had some FUD spread too. You can't build with keycaps. That was shot down real quick. People like 888 Meta, excuse me, or Emoji Punks. He's actually creating a lot of artwork with keycaps. Who would have thought, right? Creating artwork with keycaps. So something that I'm starting to be inspired with, right? Maybe start creating some artwork with keycaps. So definitely something I'm looking into as well. As well as I also want to give a shout out, man, to workfromhome.eth. That dude is not getting enough recognition for what he's doing in the community. He's building a lot of websites for people. Built busroutes.eth for our guy Verse. He actually just helped me out with my.limo, revamped it, made it look a lot more professional. Added the Discord emoji links to it as well. So shout out to Work From Home, man. Just really planting seeds in this community, doing more what we need, right? Being proactive, right? Not reactive. So and also he applied for the small grants. So hopefully he'll get one of those small grants awarded to him where he can continue to plant these seeds, because time is money, right? Nothing's free in life. So he spent hours and hours building his websites for us. So much love. I can't say thanks enough for what he's doing for me and the rest of the community. So I want to give him his flowers. As well as, man, we had a good emoji pill show over the weekend. Definitely take a listen back to the ones who haven't listened to it. Wasn't expecting it, but DeFi God dropped in. I don't know if people are familiar with DeFi God, but recently he came in to ENS about a week ago, spent about 60 ETH in a matter of maybe 5 to 7 days buying up the ENS name. So he came by, told his story of his DeFi journey, how he got started, what he does in IRL for a living as well. So it was nice to be able to catch up with him, learn about him, and meet some new people who've entered this community. So be on the lookout too as well. Tomorrow is the Smoky Pill Wednesday edition. We do have a special guest popping up. I will mention that in a tweet tomorrow, but I will say it's a very well-known individual in all of the crypto space. Just be on the lookout. Can't wait for it, Kev. Thanks for doing this show again. Man, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Kev. Is this not a Super Bowl lineup that we have attending today? I mean, not just the people on stage, but look in the crowd. Super Bowl lineup.
No, I think Flossin, first, I want to say thank you for coming on and sharing. Always love having you on. Flossin's been an OG since day one, A1 since day one, right? We go way back when. And two, I want to say, yeah, I'm getting bull market vibes again, right? The last time I seen a crowd like this, not as far as numbers, but as far as individuals in the room, uh, what was when, things are looking good. So it looks like a lot of faces are back. A lot of people are listening in. A lot of people are tuning in, and that's a very good sign for the micro market. Go ahead, Flossin. I know I seen your hand up real quick.
No, man, I was gonna let you finish, but I also meant to touch on the Belize thing. He actually hit me up in the DMs about a week ago to buy that domain off him. And then I've seen him in Emoji Discord trying to get rid of some of his emojis too. Hope everything's all right with him, right? I know he was really bullish at one time on some of these domains, so I hope he's not in a liquid crunch or anything. I know he used to be a regular on the show, maybe have some beef with a few people, but it's short sighted, right? I think he'll come around. Wishing them all the best. So just wanted to say that as well, man. A lot of good experiences with our guy Belize, and I'm just glad to see that Belize, has now, the domain Belize, is in their good hands, right? I bet Ron has something up his sleeve, what he wants to do with it, and I'm glad it went into Ron's hands. Can't wait. Maybe we'll have a get together at in Belize to celebrate.
Hey, the Belize is actually a nice vacation spot. So, hey, maybe we do something in Belize for sure. Cool. Appreciate you, Floss. Let's go over to GRQ. GRQ, what a great name. GRQ, the stage is yours, brother.
Hey, what up, ENS fam? It's GRQ here, aka Mr. Club. So, thanks for having me on the space 5159. Everybody here on the ENS updates, GM, especially you 3402. You just reminded me today's Taco Tuesday. So if anybody doesn't know, today's a great day to get some tacos. Usually you can get it for the low. They might have that 2 for 1, but yeah, Taco Tuesdays is definitely something I'm going to do today to get some tacos for some lunch. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here, and I got on yesterday for the first time in about good 4 months or so. It's been a minute. Um, but yeah, just I'm still excited for this ENS. Anybody that owns any type of ENS domain, especially bullish on the 10K club and any type of digits. So if anybody's here that needs a digit, you always got the 5 digit club, the 100K club, they say. And I really like zip codes. I think geological locations are going to be really good. And so yesterday I was on, I had a good time. It kind of really filled me up as far as getting back myself involved with ENS. I got a ton of domains. Give you a little, background. I remember back in the day, 17, 18, I minted a few names back then. And, I lost a lot of them because I really kind of fell off the board. But the one thing that I noticed was one of the ones that I minted was Igloo. It was like IGLOO. It was like a company for manufacturer. And I saw it last year sell for like 3,500. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like that was me. I had it. So that's when I really started to ramp up and started to really see like, the ENS starting to really just elevate from what it was then till now. And especially, having so many different use cases with ENS, it was a time for me to just really get on it and then just stay focused. And so from then, last year I got into, being a part of the 10K club, and I minted a few digits, and, just it was starting to roll, and it's about to roll again. And so it got me really filled up. And, I did a lot of stuff as far as just, obtaining different types of ENSs and things that I feel that may be of value in the future. So if anybody's on here, that you don't have any ENS domain, definitely get one. I mean, we're still early. And, like Kev said before, 1 to 3 years, I'm very bullish on that. I'm very bullish for this year, for 2023, and what is, to come in for 24 and 25, and so forth in the future. And so yesterday I got on into one of the spaces. It was like just chills last night. And before that, a day ago, I saw Mr. Robot sell for like an ETH on like the ENS sales spot. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm a Mr. guy. I like anything that deals with Mister. And so I got on the space, and guess what I did last night, guys? As crazy as I am, I gave a couple of domains out just because I love the community, and that's what I do. It's my way of giving. So last night I gave away Mr. Sour um, to whoever retweeted one of my tweets, and there was like 4 people that only tweeted out of like the 50. And so one of them got Mr. Sour, and then the host, Just Schilling, he's from New York City, and I gifted him Mr. New York City. These two guys are so excited and so happy. And I was just like, and now's the time for me to start actually doing some renewals on some of the things that I have. So, like what NFT Burst mentioned before, you know, don't do it late. Better do it now, before prices do go up as far as gases. And, I got a ton of stuff. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do? So last night I listed up about 50 domains, and I used 2 secondary markets or marketplaces. So I utilized OpenSea, and I did a bulk selling of like on ENS.vision. So I utilized both of them, and I did an auction for like 10 on OpenSea, and then when I went to ENS Vision, I don't know if I couldn't find the auction one. I don't even know. I thought I was doing the auction, but I ended up just doing the actual price. And so they're cheap right now as far as the ones that I have that I'm giving out, for a certain amount. If you want to take a peek at some of the things, for example, Mr. Indiana, Mr. Stanford. And I had to talk to my buddy about this, and he told me I was crazy. You're selling for Mr. Stanford for how much? Go check and find out. Because he was telling me that's going to be worth something in the future, 510 ETH. Somebody's going to want that as far as like a university. I think Mr. Princeton I had out on there too. And then you guys were talking about Europe. Mr. Europe is on ENS Vision. That's at a set price at quarter. And I don't even know. Last night I kind of went through it. I did it. It was really cool using the ENS version, but I kind of wish I would have studied a little bit more, but I just ended up putting it out there. So this ENS community is really cool, and it gets me rolling, and I'm really excited for the future. I got some, domains that I need to get back into longer, registrations for renewals. So I decided to go ahead and do a 24-hour sale. So if anybody, you guys want to take a peek at what I got, do it, because that would be helpful for me. If you would like to retweet it, it may help somebody that would like to obtain one of these premiums. And so one of the things I'm going to do right now for everybody that's in here, actually anybody in the world on the Twitter space, is from now to the end of today, because it was a 24-hour sale. There's like 12 hours left. If you end up retweeting any of my posts, I'm going to do like a Twitter picker of some sort, and somebody is going to receive a Mister. And I think I'm going to do the giveaway. It'll be Mr. 18 KT. So like 18 karat gold. Mr. 18 KT will be a winner of that domain for just helping me get this out to the community. And if that's okay with 5159, he can do the Twitter picker. I could send that to him and he could do it, because I don't know how to do the Twitter picker yet. Somebody just mentioned it last night. I like to just write names and throw it in a hat, pick it out. But thanks for having me on stage. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm really excited, and I'm really thankful to be a part of the ENS, community, and just excited for what the future, lies ahead for each and every one of you out there. And if you can, dream it, and you can believe it, you can make it happen. You just have to put a little bit of effort into it, and just keep on going. Don't stop. The more you fail in life, the more you'll succeed. You can learn from your failures and figure it out so you actually succeed in life. And I just want to lift everybody up.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Thanks for having me on, Kev.
Mr. GRQ. Appreciate you. We are approaching. Thank you for coming on stage. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. GRQ. We are approaching the end of this segment, the end of the show. Gary, the stage is yours.
Hey, yeah, great. Yeah, there's great show. It's just like nonstop good stuff. From the first second to the last second. Mafiko was talking earlier too. 1261 about projects. More projects building on Ethereum. Just on one hand, wanted to give a shout out to the Atlas project. It was linked up a little bit further back. You can follow .earth or Atlas on Chain or Alan Henna. And check out what they're doing, because they're doing a visual blockchain. They're basically rebuilding Etherscan, but they're doing it with a visual component. So instead of having to use your eyes to read the different, it's like basically like reading lines of code, right? When you're going to Etherscan, you're like, oh goodness, right? But they're trying to make it a visual medium, so you can just quickly look at a Etherscan account and visually see the transactions that are doing that all, with ENS names included. And also wanted to, give a shout out to ENS.domains, who just published on web3domains.com an article that was ENS versus Unstoppable Domains by ENS.down.eth, and it's a comparison of the two Web3 systems, the two naming systems, their cost, their decentralization, their function, their culture, and more. So there might be something interesting in there for people who are just getting involved, or maybe if you've been around for a while, you can check out that article and look at his case. See if he missed any points that can be added to make it even better, or what do you think he gave Unstoppable a fair shot in his assessment? Just some written content out there for people searching for it at web3domains.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Gary, for sharing that with us as well. This last thing I'm gonna say here, but because we're over time here, probably gonna just talk about it a lot more tomorrow. As you guys know, Porsche, the famous car company, released the NFT collection, and I pinned a tweet to the top, and the guy says, if the Web3 Porsche advisor gets fired, I'll donate the 0.911 Ethereum. So the joke is that they released the NFT collection charging 0.9 Ethereum to mint the collection, which as of right now hasn't been very successful. Maybe they'll mint out, maybe not. Who knows? But if you guys also see the name of their Twitter account, it's ETH_Porsche. If you look at their name on the account, they have the Porsche and then they have the ETH symbol next to it. When will they learn? When will they learn that all they need if they want community engagement, all they need if they want to reach the levels they want to reach in Web3, is all they had to do was get Porsche.eth. And they would have got way more engagement. They would have got way more love. It would have been a complete game changer for them. But then again, I am not their Web3 advisor. And whoever that guy is said their Web3 advisor should get fired. And I agree. Has not been a great of a mint for them as a brand that global, that big. You still haven't minted out. And it's been almost 24 hours. Something went wrong there. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. We're overtime here. I have a lot to do today, so wishing everybody a great day, a happy day, a blessed day. We do this show every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you guys, same place, same time tomorrow. Peace.